She's still recording. Okay. Okay, so everyone wants to know the story about the lucky unlucky charm. Back in, when was it? Was it March or was it April? I can't remember. I think it might have been April. When the quarterfinals for the Stanley Cup playoff were going, I found out I could watch the Canucks play. I was very excited for obvious reasons, and they did pretty damn well. So I decided to root for them for the Stanley Cup, again for obvious reasons, but they also impressed me personally. And comes around, I remember the day, it was May 2nd, because living out loud premiered that day. But it was May 2nd is when the first game of the next round of the finals for the Stanley Cup were going. And it was the first start of the Canucks against the Blackhawks. Me and my mom, Ted, or Smurf, for those of you who don't know who Ted is, we were in Chili's, and they were showing the sports thing on the TV. We were sitting at the bar, and they were showing it was on a sports channel, and they were showing horse racing. Exciting, I know. But at the bottom they had, the little ticker, and they kept going back to hockey, and the Capitals were playing. I remember that because they were doing pretty well. The Capitals are my mom's team. And I was saying, just say, oh yeah, Canucks are going to do it tonight. They're going to be amazing. And my mom turns to me and says, the Canucks aren't going to the Stanley Cup. I wasn't going to take that shit. I was like, no, what? Of course they are. We argued back and forth, and she's like, I bet you a quarter they're not going to make it to the Stanley Cup. How could I turn that down? I mean, seriously? Come on now. I've been rooting for them since the very first game of the quarterfinals. So I was like, okay, I gotta take this bet. Took the bet. Anyone who knows me and my mom, we're kind of competitive, always, and she, so back and forth the whole time the Canucks and the Blackhawks are going at it. And did they win that first game that night? I can't remember. I think they might have won that game. I don't really remember because I wasn't watching. I was watching Living Out Loud. Go figure. But I remember we kept going back and forth, and I was like, I made a little banner, and I was like totally gloating, saying they were so gonna make it. My mom was saying they weren't. We were yelling at each other, good-naturedly, of course. And it was down to game 6. The Canucks had to win it, or they were out. And the game was so going back and forth, and then they were tied, and then they were down 2. And before the game was even over, I think there was like 5 minutes left in the game, I gave her the quarter. I took the quarter out of my jean pocket. I was crying, and I slid it over to her. We were sitting in the kitchen watching the end of the game, and I was very upset, so she didn't really gloat about it at that moment. She gave me a hug and everything. Then later on, later that night in her bathroom, I was in there, and I was like, by the way, that quarter I gave you tonight for the bet, I stole it from your vanity yesterday when I was walking into the room, because her vanity is right by her bedroom door, and as I walked in, I was like, oh look, quarter, and I just picked it up and I stuck it in my pocket. That was the quarter I'd taken out of my pocket and given to her, so the quarter she won was technically hers to begin with. And she didn't think it was as funny as I did. And anywho, I said to her right after that, she's like, oh yeah, that was so mean and everything. I was like, I'm going to be getting that quarter back. She's like, no you won't. I was like, yeah I will. Anything you tell me to do, any chore, anything, cat boxes, dishes, whatever, I'm going to ask for a quarter until you give me it back. And you're going to find it very annoying. Well, the next day, we're sitting out on the front porch, and Harley needs to go out to the bathroom. Mom's like, go walk the dog. I was like, give me a quarter. She looked at me, she's like, I'll give you a quarter. I was like, no, the quarter, the one I gave you last night. She's like, I will give you the same quarter that I gave you last night if you go walk the dog, which I did. I mean, come on. So I got the quarter back, the losing quarter back, and I had told Tara about it. The bet, like, it was right after the first or second game. I know the Canucks had just won the game before that, so I knew I was, like, still happy and like, oh yeah, they're gonna make it. And I told Tara about the bet, and she's like, oh, you're so gonna win, just tell your mom, she's gonna lose, kick her ass and everything. It was all funny. And I was like, you know what, if I win this bet, I'm gonna give the quarter to Michael in Chicago. I'll be like, here, it's because of this quarter that they won the Stanley Cup, or made it to the Stanley Cup. That didn't happen. So I was upset about that too. I was like, I was going to give him the winning quarter. So instead, I got the losing quarter basically back. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to give this to him instead. It's the quarter. It's kind of funny. He'll probably appreciate the humor behind the entire story. So that's how it came about. And then I decided that maybe, you know, I could make a charm out of it, make it, you know, good juju from the bad juju that came out of it. So that's how it became the lucky unlucky charm. And then you saw the finished product that I've worked on forever. And yeah, I couldn't tell him this entire story, obviously, so if you go and look in the pictures of the project, if you see it sitting on a folded piece of paper, that is me actually writing out this entire story I just told you through video for him to read, because I knew I wasn't going to have time to tell him this whole story behind why I used a quarter to make a Canucks charm. But, you know, clearly they've done good enough this season. They were doing well in the preseason, I should say, and they've done, you know, okay, not well. They've done okay so far, but the way I proved that maybe it was good juju was when they went and faced the Blackhawks that lost me that quarter. They went and kicked their ass, and it was amazing. So I think the lucky unlucky charm has its, you know, moments. Hopefully when it comes down to it, it'll work. If not, it's a fun little thing I made that I hope he appreciates, because it was amazing. The story behind it. And, oh, by the way, my mom bet me again, right before the start of this season, that the Canucks still weren't going to make it to the Stanley Cup. I was like I'm going to turn it down again, even though they lost last time. I said, yeah, I'll take that bet. And I was like, well, who are you going to... She's like, I can't decide who I want to go to the Stanley Cup because they're not in the playoffs yet. I was like, that's cheating. You have to pick a team and just root for them. Just like, no, I gotta know who's in the playoffs first. Then I'll tell you who's gonna go, and the Canucks aren't gonna go. So, yeah. I will be getting that quarter. No matter what. I'll steal it from her. She says I won't steal it from her, but I will. I'll steal a quarter. I might end up with 2. I might end up with the one that I stole from her. You never know. But, yeah. That's the story behind the lucky unlucky charm. I kind of wish I still had it. I'm not lying. I love that thing. It was amazing. I put so much work into it. It was my baby. I ignored my cat for a week just to work on that thing. And my mother. But yeah, that's the story. I told you it was long. But it's funny. And people seem to like it, the story, that is. Can't really show them the charm anymore because I don't have it. But I just hope it's appreciated and it's somewhere nice. Because I painted a freaking killer whale on a quarter. Do you know how hard that is? Do you know how many different times I had to go over that thing again and again and again? Oh, nope, messed it up, back again. Little bitty brush. It was my baby for the summer since my laptop was broken. I love you. Don't break again. Okay. Oh, there you go.